Welcome to pchow.com's video tutorial on how to run the traceroute command. To begin, the traceroute command is a way to find the network path from one device to another. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be on our workstation here trying to find a path to our website, pchow.com. But we could also be looking for a switch or a router or a printer or a file share or anything that really has an IP address or a host name assigned to it. Now before we run the command, we'll have to open up a PowerShell window. You can also use command prompt if you'd like. The command works in both, but we're sticking to PowerShell since Microsoft is planning the phase out command prompt over time. And now to run traceroute, we'll run trace RT, and then we'll just type in our website that we're trying to reach, or you could type in a host name or a file share as well, or just the IP address of what you're looking for. And you see as it runs through the commands here, it's giving 3 ICMP requests, similar to ping, to each one of the host names, and it's listing them out in a line by line down our screen. Now right off the bat, you'll notice it ran an ICMP request and it pulled the IP address of our website. And that's going to be useful because we can use that to tell if we hit the device that we were looking to find. And you can see that we have the same IP address here and here, so that's our way of knowing that we ran a successful traceroute command. A few other things we'll go over on this display is on the first column that displays our number of hops, and you can see line by line it increases numerically by 1. And now once it reaches 30 though, we will get a trace complete, and this is all it'll show because the maximum is set to 30 hops. If you find that happen, we can increase that, and we'll go into that later. Our next section are the 3 columns of our wait time, or the time it takes for the packets to come back to us. And it has the columns in milliseconds, and by default the max is 4,000 milliseconds or 4 seconds. In our next section here, you can see that we have our host names, and then behind it in the brackets are the IP addresses of the devices that were along the path to our website. Now if we'd like to, for instance, run this command a little faster, since it did run a little slow before, we can push the up arrow to bring up our previous command, and we can push or put a -D into the command there, and that will remove DNS from our traceroute command. And you can see this time it's running much faster. Now you can see we got an asterisk on the first one. And that means our wait time is expired. So in our next one, we'll go ahead and we'll increase our wait time to see why we got a request timeout. So we'll keep our -D in there because you can have multiple different variables entered in this, and we will increase our wait time to, we will double it to 8 seconds. And you see this time it didn't need that much time, but it would have had it if it needed it. Now what we could also do is, if you're running out of the amount of hops and you get to 30 and the traceroute ends because it's reached its default amount of hops, you can put a -H in and a space, and then the amount of hops you'd like to change it to. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to put 4 hops in to show what it looks like when traceroute reaches the maximum hops here. And you can see when we change that, it went from 30 hops down to 4 hops. You can see all it says is trace complete because it reached the end of the hops, and at that point it's done running the command. Now you could also increase your hops And once again, I went to my most recent command by pushing the up arrow, and we could increase it to 128 if we wanted to. And that would be if we were looking for a device that's maybe on the opposite side of the globe or through a whole forest of switches, routers, and all sorts of stuff. And you can see now it shows our maximum hops is 128. But since we know we've been able to find our host, and we don't really need to find it, we will do Control-C to end the command, and we were at the command prompt. And this concludes the pchow.com's video tutorial on how to run the traceroute command.